Hello and welcome to episode #2 of the Chit Chat Podcast. I would firstly like to thank every single person that messaged me over social media, that commented and shared episode 1. It really means a lot to me and I was incredibly nervous, so thank you so much for showing your support. If you are tuning in on the Patreon page, thank you so much for donating. Now, my guest today needs no introduction and is no stranger on the West End. I am joined by the wonderful and insanely talented David O Reilly. David, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, Jesus, that's some introduction. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. How have you been and what have you been getting up to in lockdown?
Oh, I've been all right, I mean, it's funny because I kept on, I've been doing some interviews as well myself, and I asked people that, and the most refreshing one I had last week was a friend called Nathan, and he went, "It's a pandemic, innit? It's a world pandemic, and we're kind of, I think I'm just trying to get through it the best I can, and that's keeping myself busy. So like I'm doing some Insta live content, I'm doing some projects, I'm writing. I'm just trying to keep myself busy. I think for me, my brain is one of those brains that needs to be kept active in order to kind of keep my mood up and my, stuff like that. So that's kind of where I found myself.
And let's talk about the Dance with Dave. Where did the idea come from that? Because I've been watching them every day. They're brilliant.
Well, Dance with Dave, who knew that a clinically obese man dancing would humour so many people? No, so basically my friend Amy, my best friend Amy, who I live with, and Craig and Max, we all live together. But Amy would film me sometimes years ago and put it up on her Instagram, and we'd get loads of responses. So then I kind of implemented it as part of my show. I did a one-man show and I did bits of it then last year. And then we just thought, lockdown, sure, we do it. And anyway, we have a bit of laugh. I mean, we've paused it at the moment, but Dance with Dave, it was just to kind of keep people's spirits high and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And just me making a fool out of myself.
Oh no, it's brilliant. It's actually something that becomes part of my day now. You do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, is it?
We do, yeah, but we've taken a break this week and next week just to kind of. It's exhausting, Evan. Honest to God, I'd be knackered.
So, David, let's go back to the very beginning. You were born and raised in Dublin, Ireland. How was life growing up as a boy that wanted to do musical theatre, sing and dance? And how did that lead you to deciding to make the move to London?
Well, it was weird because I always enjoyed drama at primary school, and I did like plays and stuff when I was younger. But then I didn't really join a proper like drama stage school until I think I was 15. I could have been a year younger. I think I was 15, and it was a place called Westside Stage School in Lucan, and it was the first time I kind of had ever felt like I'd found my people potentially, and like people who had similar interests, and I enjoyed musical theatre, and I enjoyed knowing about musical theatre, and I enjoyed, it's like when you're that age and you meet people who come over from the West End and they're teaching you, it's like, oh my God. So that's kind of where it started. And, I was very lucky in the sense of that, whilst primary school was very difficult for me personally, secondary school was a lot easier because my focus wasn't just getting through it and working hard, and I just kind of kept my head down, and my drama and singing and acting and dancing was kind of my little creative hub. And I wasn't going to go and do it. I went to study media at college, and I did a year, but then in that time I got a chance to audition for a place in Essex called CPA Studios. And I got accepted, and I asked my mum and dad, and this is how I kind of know I really wanted to do it, because I'm quite a what would you call it? I don't like massive amount of change. I get scared. I get scared at change. And by not little things, but like huge things. So I'm moving away and stuff like that. That was it. But I wanted to do it, so I knew that this was where I wanted to be, and I just found myself on a 3-year musical theatre training course like that.
Yeah. And like, so obviously you trained at CPA Studios, and for anyone that doesn't know how I met you, is that yourself and 2 others, Sarah O'Connor and your brother Joseph O'Reilly, gave me the scholarship of a lifetime that I'll forever be grateful to all 3 of you for doing that for me.
Oh, Evan, you know what? Like, it's very easy. Like, we can all blow hot air up each other's, what's all the time and stuff like that. But you came in on the audition day and you nailed it, mate. You came in, there was a real kind of proactiveness to you, and that's what Sarah was always looking for. That's what I was always looking for, and Joseph was looking for, was someone that we knew was just going to grab all the opportunities, and you did that. So like, it was such an easy decision to give
Thank you.
it, because we knew you were the player, and you're incredibly talented. So
thank you so much. I appreciate that, and it was a great experience, because in Ireland we don't get the opportunities to have a college come over and do an audition. So that for me was amazing. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. But what was graduating like for you, and like the period of training and finding an agent and trying to book your first job? Like, how did that all happen for you, and what was your journey with that?
So I graduated in 2010, which is 10 years ago in July. I graduated, and when you come from it, I think what's fantastic is, whilst it's very sad that CPA studios closed, what was
Yeah, of
really
course.
fantastic for you was that you got to experience the intense kind of smaller atmosphere of a smaller college, and then you went to go and experience a bigger college like Durham Burn. So you can compare it and know what it's like when you graduate from somewhere like CPA. You're fighting a lot of people's stereotypes and kind of what people think it's like. So you're coming from a smaller college, and you're trying to, make sure that you put yourself out there. You can't have anything against you with regards to, like, you have to be on top form in the audition. You have to make sure you look the best. You can't have anything, and that goes for every college, but particularly when you come from a smaller college, because people are waiting to judge you. I feel, just my opinion, it was just my lived experience. So I graduated in the July. I hadn't got a job straight away, and I went to work in a retail store, and that was very difficult, because when you're in a bubble of musical theatre training, you experience what you want to do every single day, and then suddenly overnight, you're not doing that all the time. And I remember bawling my eyes out to my mom on the phone one day, saying, like, I can't do this. Like, this is terrible. Like, I then kind of went back and did some reception work. And what happened was, then I got a chance to audition for a few contracts, and don't ask me why, but I said no. They were like, they were like jobs that I, not like, God, it's gonna, how do I say it? Jobs that I knew I wouldn't be happy in. Now, for anyone who's a graduate, I mean, people said, are you mad? But I just knew, I knew it wasn't right. But anyway, and I got a chance to audition for Grease.
Yes.
In the West End. And that was in the December. November, December. And I got recalled. I was like, oh. Yeah. And then I got recalled again. I was like, oh. Okay. And I had a dance. I was like, oh my God. And the next minute I've got a final. I'm like, shit. And I'm auditioning. My final was on the stage of the Shaftesbury Theatre when Flashdance was there. And I remember it. I came away from it thinking, I don't know. And then my life changed. I got offered the job, and I started rehearsals in the January.
Amazing.
And this will tell you how much of a worrier I am. So that Christmas was the one where there was snow and people couldn't go home. Okay. And I could get a flight home. But I started rehearsals on the 5th of January, and I was telling my mum on the 22nd of December, I don't think it's wise for me to come home, because what if I can't get back for rehearsals? And I didn't go home for Christmas. Idiot. But it happened, and I had 4 incredible months there in the West End at the Piccadilly Theatre playing the role of Roger, and it was incredible. Yeah.
And like that's just amazing, that story, like, and how you actually, it wasn't all plain sailing for you. You didn't just walk into a job. You had to go through all the muggle jobs, as we call it, to get to where you wanted to be. But let's talk about Book of Mormon, because for anyone that doesn't know, it's a musical comedy by Trey Parker, Robert Lopez, and Matt Stone, and is currently in the Prince of Wales Theatre. What a brilliant musical that is. And you played Stand By Elder Cunningham for, was it 4 or 5 contracts or something like that?
Nearly 5 years.
Wow. So like, I have a million questions personally that I would love to ask you. And so I've narrowed it into a few.
Ask as many as you want.
What does the show mean to you? What was the experience like? And like, what did you learn? And most importantly, what was it like being a standby in a West End show? Because you must have had great fun playing a role like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think with every job comes a new set of lessons and a new kind of education in itself. And for me, that job was all about learning to stay motivated in a job that potentially could, with being a standby.
Yeah.
Also, I learned to develop a thick skin. You know, it wasn't my role to play Monday to Friday, Saturday. It
Yeah.
was someone else's role, and I almost felt that I needed to educate myself that I was a caretaker. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I
Okay. Yeah.
came in and I looked after this role for the person, and I think many times a lot of awkward situations happen when people overstep marks, and it's about having I wanted to always make sure that I had a relationship, a great relationship with any of the elder Cunninghams that I stood
Yeah.
by for. And while I was there, there was one, there was four of them, and out of the three of them, I would call them close friends.
Wow.
I would say
Yeah.
that, well, I don't speak to them all the time now, but I could pick up the phone and speak to them. And they were all, the three out of the four were gentlemen, and, you know, treated me with the utmost respect as a standby as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would always try, and, you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but always try and treat them with the respect that, you know, when you're a standby, you go into their dressing room,
Oh.
you
Oh.
know,
Okay. Okay.
you go into their dressing room when you're on. So
Right.
you literally step into their shoes.
Yeah.
Not literally, but you literally step
Yeah.
into their kind of their space, and you have to be respectful and also allow yourself to enjoy the experience of being, you know, that show, that particular show that you're on, that's your show
Yeah.
then, and you get to create your Elder Cunningham. And I always say the part was never mine to have, but it was certainly an amazing ride caretaking it.
And do you? That's amazing. Do you think there's a certain disrespect to standboys, or like that is frowned upon in some aspects?
I certainly think that within, not within the industry is always very
Yeah.
supportive of understudies, I think, and again, just my experience,
Yeah.
and standbys and swings. I think the general public sometimes misunderstand what an understudy is, and they think it's the second best, and that comes from me, from when a celebrity plays a role. They see that,
Okay.
if it's, you know, that's where they associate that, because they sometimes people want to come along and see that person they paid money for, and if they're not on, I get it, they're disappointed. But what I don't tolerate, and what I don't think is fair, is when people kind of express that to, you know, I came out of
Yeah.
stage door one night and I heard the words, "Oh, don't worry, it's only the understudy."
Wow.
Now, they probably didn't mean for me to hear it, but I did. Now, luckily, like I said, you develop a thick
Thick
skin,
skin.
and
Yeah.
you know, you kind of have to develop it. And then actually, a lot of the theatre fans love standbys and understudies. They particularly
Yeah.
go to shows just to see them. So it's kind of a mixed bag. And I think there's I love the opportunity of being a standby, because I learned so much.
Yeah. So, like, you've done this amazing musical. So now let's talk about plays, because you performed in Lady Windermere's Fan at the Vaudeville Theatre, and you played the iconic role of Francis Henshaw in One Man, Two Governors.
Mm-hmm.
Was doing a play always something that you had in mind? Like, I saw you in Lady Windermere's Van, and you were brilliant. Like, you're always drawn to you on the stage. Because even
Oh,
when you were
thank
doing
you.
like stuff at the back and this, like, you're just always watching you. You're always doing something that's like
Scene stealing.
Yeah.
Stealing every moment.
Like, I'm raging I didn't get to see you play Francis in One Man, Two Governors. What was that experience like, taking on such an iconic role?
With what, Francis Henschel in One Man, Two Governors?
Yeah, and how did it
It was
compare, I
very,
suppose, to
it was
Lady
very,
Windermere?
well, I suppose with Lady Windermere's, it was my first experience of working on a straight play. And for me, I was always happy just that I wanted to work. You know, I'm always
Yeah,
happy when I'm just working. But when you get asked by Kathy Burke to do a play, and alongside the butler, Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
yeah,
and Jennifer Saunders, and Samantha Spyro, and a whole cast, and Kevin Bishop, and a whole cast of actors who are incredible in their own right, you kind of go, oh my
mm.
God. But I mean, playing Cecil Graham was amazing, because I got
Yes.
the opportunity to create real moments of comedy with the other guys. And my favorite scene was scene 3, when it was all the men in this in Lord Darlington's study, I think it was, and we had a great time blocking that and a great time setting it. I learned a lot of lessons as well on that as well, because I had been so conditioned to musical theatre, and I'd now found myself in a straight play, that I found myself kind of having to change practices, if that makes
Yeah,
sense,
yeah,
in the way I
yeah.
was as an actor, because not all of them suit the same kind of um,
Like brief, there's different ways of how you do
yeah,
things.
there
Yeah,
is
yeah,
different. I had found my experience in musical theatre was very different than my experience was going to be in plays, and I had to adapt to that. And
yeah,
I learned a lot on it, and I'm very grateful for my time, and I got to share a dressing room with two incredible men out of the show, and they just kind of, I learned a lot as well.
yeah,
So no, I was really grateful. And then I suppose going on to Francis Henshaw, when my agent first put it to me, I was unsure because I didn't know financially if it was going to be
yeah. The right
if I
move.
was going to be able to sustain myself financially over such a small amount of time.
Yeah,
But that year, I'd also promised myself that I was going to grab opportunities that I wanted to do, and the role of playing Francis Henshaw was never going to be around, quite in the same way it was before. And there may be production in a few years, but I don't know if I was going to be available for it. And
yeah,
the opportunity to get to audition for this may never come around again. So
yeah.
my agent said, go for it. And I went for it, and I had a great audition, and I had to go up to Derby again. And when I say great audition, I don't mean like I was great. I had a great audition with the, because imagine,
Yeah.
I was amazing. I was
Oh,
really good, and they begged me to do it.
everybody loves me.
Everyone loves me. No, like I had a great audition with regards to the panel. It was my first time auditioning for like this creative team, and I'd auditioned for Debbie O'Brien before, but this was Harry
Yeah,
from Debbie O'Brien. So it was a new person seeing me, and yeah, it was a lot of it was a lot of different feelings about it. And then I did my final, and then I got offered it, and I was really excited because then I could really look forward to what was ahead of me. And I knew it was a bit of a mammoth task. It's not an easy play to do for
yeah,
Francis Henshaw because he needs the support of everybody in the cast, and he needs to be the character. The play needs to be put together with a real sense of care and love, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
But I was incredibly lucky that I had some incredible members of cast that I was able to work alongside that were very forthcoming with me and gave me a lot. And hopefully I would have returned the same to them as well. It was a difficult process in many ways as well because I
yeah,
had to trust in things that were new to me and trust in processes that were not
yeah,
necessarily the way I would have done it. But it was a process that I'm glad I went through because mentally it was difficult, but I came out the other side of it.
yeah,
I feel a stronger actor and kind of reaffirmed a lot of my beliefs about what theatre should be and the way that we should go and attack comedy. And comedy is such an underrated kind of theatrical beast that I think can be done so wrong, and I
yeah,
include myself in that. And it was Richard Bean said to me when he watched, the writer of the show came to see it, and he said to me, you're going to do a lot of this because I don't know if you know, obviously there's a lot of impro in the show as well,
okay,
where,
yeah,
and I say impro, where the audience, I kind of have to go to the audience and I feed off whatever they say back. And he said to me, you're going to be fed some things some night, and it's going to be wild, and people are going to go crazy, and there's going to be things. He says, but the beauty of this play is when you go with it. So
yeah,
what was really amazing was to get the writer's permission to kind of embrace the audience
yeah.
was amazing. So it was a hard task, but one I'm glad I did. And Richard Bean has written and adapted an incredible play, and it was an honor to do.
Yeah. So like comedy runs in your blood, and like that's certain, like you talk about. You also did the Australian and New Zealand tour of the Catherine Tate show, and you played various different roles. What was working with Catherine like? That must have been one of the most fun contracts you've ever done.
It was the worst. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Exclusive, you heard it here.
Yeah, exactly. Horrible. No, it was one of those kind of, if you didn't just go ahead and do it and just kind of put the blinkers on, it just could have been so. I'd have been that crazy fan in the room like this. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're amazing. It was incredible to see a woman take charge of a rehearsal room and take charge of a company and lead it with such heart and
Yeah.
such knowledge.
Mm.
Catherine is a person with such knowledge. She knows comedy. She knows comedy and she knows her brand and she
Mm.
knows what works. And what's beautiful is that when someone is like that and they're leading you, along with the director Shauna
Yeah.
Foley, of course, but when she's holding your hand in the process, you don't even need to question anything because you completely trust her
Wow.
because she knows what what it is
Yeah.
to make an audience belly laugh. And of course, it's a process that she would say to me at times, too much. Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
too much. Okay, yeah, sorry. Too much. Yeah, okay. And she really educated me, and particularly on one bit where we were doing improv, with the Irish mammy. Our John is a game on now, and I
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
John. She kind of held my hand on that a little bit and kind of taught me things that would and wouldn't work. And I think it's always a case of with comedy, you always leave them wanting more, and you
Yeah.
always leave them at the peak of the comedy. And the possibility with comedy is once you get to the peak, some people just want to drag the peak out, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, kind of sound like I'm doing a daily briefing on the coronavirus. Once you get to the peak, people want to like drag that peak out. And it's like, no, you
Yeah.
got to you got to build it up, and then that's where you get the highs and lows. And she was just genius. And there was only 4 of us in the cast, and Nikki Wardley and Alex Carter, and the 4 of us have become such. Nikki and Catherine obviously were friends before,
Yeah.
and Alex and Nikki were friends before, but I feel like I found 3 friends for life, as well as their families and partners who came on tour with us as well. I feel like I've made some really beautiful friends out of it, and we do a quiz every Tuesday night, the
Oh,
Catherine Tate
lovely.
Show cast. We do a quiz,
Go
and
away.
it's yeah. Every Tuesday night we'll do a quiz. The 4 of us and partners and family and all, and it's a lovely moment. Kind of, it's one of my highlights of my week in lockdown. So, yeah,
It's beautiful, that, isn't it? That you do a contract and then you just all of a sudden become a family, and it creates more memories beyond that.
and it really was a family because when you're doing a show like that, you have to be prepared to be told that's not okay, that's good, that's bad, and that's where I think the trust and the honesty came from. And Nikki Wardley in her own as an actress is, oh my god, she's incredible. Her talent for acting is beyond amazing, and then she's an amazing comedian as well. And
Yeah.
obviously, I've just told you how amazing Catherine is, and then Alex the same as well. He's built up a career and a craft. He knows so much about what he does. It was just an amazing opportunity to work with these 3 people, and then obviously the icing on the cake, as you said, we became friends because we got
Yeah.
along. It was amazing.
So, like, talking to you and like listening to your Instagram lives and like knowing you love to celebrate other people's success, and you've got this incredible like aura and buzz and like glow about you that is so unique. Like, you are so humble. Where does it all come from? And do you think people forget about that, supporting others?
I don't know if I'm humble, but that's very nice of you to say, but I don't know if I am. I think I'm a bit more egotistical than you'd
Okay.
imagine. Um, so I often at times find myself trying to justify my position in this business and this industry,
Yeah.
and um, I try to justify that. Hey, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and la 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 la, or whatever, and at times it can be very difficult. And I genuinely feel pride when if a friend of mine does something and achieves something,
Yeah.
because when we build people up, it gives them confidence, I feel, to go and create other stuff. And I'm very lucky that I have a circle of friends and family that support me with my career wholeheartedly. And
Yeah.
I think it's really important nowadays, particularly in a business where at times we can tear each other down,
Yeah.
to kind of support and celebrate kind of other people's blessings
Achievements.
and
Yeah.
achievements. Yeah, exactly. And I think that comes from also, my mom and dad were very kind of growing up would always make sure that you said congratulations and please
Yeah.
and thank you, and make sure that you acknowledge other people's good things,
100%.
because if you don't, you just kind of find yourself, you could potentially find yourself being very bitter, and I don't want to be bitter.
Yeah.
I want to be better.
Yeah.
I want to be better. And opening yourself to congratulate something takes about 2 seconds of your day. So if I
Absolutely.
can do that, well then great.
Absolutely. And now, in the world of drag, you are no stranger, and you're part of this incredible charity called Mad Drag Night, set up by yourself, David McMullen, and Sean Parkins to raise money for people fighting with HIV and AIDS. Where did the idea for all of that come about? Because it really is incredible what you guys have done so far.
Well, I suppose well, obviously the three of us were working together at the time at the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
And I'd been involved with the Make a Difference Trust since I first did WestEnd Eurovision in 2011. Sean has been involved with the Make a Difference Trust since 1842, and David McMullen has been involved in it equally as long as me. We kind of, the kind of charity shows that were happening kind of change hands a lot of the time. So there's always new projects happening, and we kind of noticed that there was nothing in the drag world that was being kind of used in our industry to kind of to celebrate drag, but also make money for an incredible charity. And obviously Drag Race it was maybe on season 8 then, I think, maybe.
Okay.
6 maybe it was 6. No, it wasn't, it was 8. And we had at Moment always had a little bit of drag involved, because Matt Krazan, kind of our dance captain in the first year, brought in like loads of drag and got us all dressed up and stuff like that. So we kind of thought, oh, well, what can we do to make a night out of this? And we did a first show in 2015, was it 15?
Wow.
And we then celebrated five years last year of this show, where we made the most money in a beautiful venue at Proud Embankment in London. And it's you know what, to do it is amazing, because like other charity events, we don't have budgets and stuff like that. So every costume that you see and every wig that you see has been bought by a cast member. So not only are they giving up their time and their skills, they're giving up their money and their pockets to raise more money for a charity. So it's amazing. We're very lucky. We've got an incredible cast, and David McMullen and Sean Parkins are worth their weight in gold for what they bring to the event. They are. I just sometimes pinch myself working with them, and I genuinely mean that, because both of them are such creative beings. It's lovely. It's a lovely experience.
And you have obviously the experience with doing drag, and you also played the Dame in the Panto in Bristol just recently. But more currently, you were playing the role of like a virgin, and everybody's talking about Jamie. Now, sorry to hear about closing due to everything that's going on in the world. What's it like to be part of a story that I can safely say touches the lives of so many people?
It's great. I mean, you kind of, again, it's not until you take a step back and you acknowledge what you're doing that you kind of remember that there's a really fantastic story and lessons there that do reach out and call people in to see it, and reflect upon some people's lived realities. And what's great about Jamie is that, which I'm proud of, is it's an incredibly diverse show with race, with age, with male, female, with sexuality. I think it's a fantastic show, and I think it's a representation of a modern Britain in many ways. We have 2 girls in hijabs on stage, and it's the lived reality of those characters. It's their story. We have a boy dressing up in heels and going to prom in a dress. It's all these things that people forget are actually part of people's lives at times, or have been. And even if you didn't dress up in a dress, but the fact that he's gay and his dad won't accept him, for so many people it's going to be such a not a soft spot, but a relevant part. So, it's an incredible show. The cast, I miss the cast a lot. I think the cast are some of the greatest people I've had the opportunity to work with, and the crew, and the stage management, and all the team backstage. It was very sad
Of
that
course.
we had to close, obviously, for the pandemic. But
Yeah.
who knows what will happen? I don't know. It's a sad time for theatre, but what I do know is that resilience hopefully
Yeah.
will
We
will
will
propel
bounce
us
back.
back.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, like, we'd be here all day talking about everything you've done. You like, you know what I mean? Like, but the one thing that amazes about me is your incredible your work ethic, and like you keep on achieving things in all aspects of the industry. You also played like being in Benidorm. What lights the fire inside of you and like motivates you every day to keep pushing, achieving new goals, and like keeping that passion going? Because you literally don't stop.
Well, you know what? Just two. It's a two cards, two ways of looking at that. So, for me, I'm hungry. I have a passion. I love what I
Yeah.
do, Evan. I love what I do, and I've been very fortunate that I've been given opportunities to work in various different areas of the entertainment industry, and I hope I get them again. I love what I do. I love performing.
Yeah.
I love making people laugh. I love learning. I love sitting there and watching incredible people create and make things from stuff that I don't know. Like my
Yeah.
first day on set at Benidorm, I'd never done TV before. Sitting there in a
Yeah.
caravan park in Spain, painted black and white in clown costume, while Sherry Houston and Jake Canuso,
Yeah.
are doing a scene with me. But it's either that thing of you sink or you swim, and you kind of have to grab
Yeah.
the opportunities and you go with it. But people always say to me, and this is the message I want to put across there, is you never stop, and
Yeah.
that's because I think a lot of that would have to do with the fact that it comes across like that on social media,
Yeah.
because I never put on social media I cried today. I never put on social media I did
Yeah.
5 shifts at the Nell this week, or I ran for 2 auditions,
Yeah.
or I taught, or I did running work, or I stage managed, or any of that stuff. I don't ever put up because it's they seem like things that we shouldn't celebrate when we should, because actually last year I was out of work. Probably, so 2019. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I did Catherine Tate in the West End in January. I did nothing February. I did nothing March. I did a half an hour voiceover.
Yeah.
May I did a few weeks on April nothing. May I did a few weeks on Doctors. June nothing. July nothing. August, September and October I did One Man Two Gunners. November nothing. It's like
Yeah.
6 months, but
Yeah.
because it was 6 different jobs and it wasn't a long contract, people think, oh my god, he sounds so busy. And of course that's not the truth. And I always say, people, like, my social media is not a true representation of my life,
100%.
and my
Okay.
CV isn't. And it's really important that I'm so lucky with so many opportunities, but I do go and have to do other jobs as well, like, pulling points, because
Yeah.
I have to pay the bills.
And like that, I was about to ask you next. Like, have you ever had a time when you struggled to come back when you have a few setbacks? And is it easier said than done to keep on going? Like, if you had times when you went, I don't know, can I keep going?
Yeah,
Type
I
of
did.
way.
I tell you, there was a hard one last year where a production company had said to me a couple of times they wanted me for um the show, this television film they were doing.
Okay.
And the CEO of the company and then some producers said it to me, and it was said to me about 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And then they asked me to audition, but I couldn't audition, so I had to do a self-tape. And I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And what was really hard was I didn't expect it, but I thought, Christ, I must have been really bad if they're saying to me they want me to do it before I auditioned. They want me to do it. And then I did an audition that wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And then I seen that the director was a friend of somebody that I hadn't particularly got on very well with. So I thought, have I done something then? And I went in a real spiral of negativity, and I was panicking, and I questioned my talent, and I questioned whether it was worth putting myself through these situations anymore. And I then also got right down for an ITV drama, literally
Yeah.
down for it. the cast nurse said, it's looking good, it's looking good, it's looking good. And then
gone.
The director's decided he's going a different way now. The writers decided. And that's hard because you think, I couldn't have done any more than what I did. But, and then there was some other TV stuff that I'd done and I didn't get. But what you have to remind yourself is that we knew this was going to happen. You're not going to get every job that you go for in the normal world.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get every audition. And, you know, I too will have days where I'm so pissed off that I didn't get a job.
Yeah.
But it's okay to I have my little pity party.
Yeah.
And then I go, no, come on. What's next?
100%. And like for someone that was on West End before lockdown happened, how do you see theatre coming back, or when? Like, I'm really interested to hear from someone that was right in the middle of it all when it all happened. When do you see theatre coming back?
You know what, Evan, I don't know. Some people say September, some people say Panto, some people are saying next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see how theatre can come back when we have these social distancing rules in place.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm an actor. I want to be in the theatre, but I don't want to be in the theatre if people are scared. What is the point of people spending money? And nobody's going to come to it. So I think what needs to happen is that the government needs to put in plans and put in policy that they can help maintain the industry until a time where
we can go back.
You know, we can go back. And again, it's not, I can see why it's not the greatest priority for some people, but what I would say then on the same time is that some people, every time you switch on Amazon or Netflix or listen to a podcast or watch people's content, they're made by freelancers, self-employed performers, actors, directors, and the industry has played a huge part in keeping people's time ticking, but also people's mental health and engaging and keeping people entertained. So that is the same as well, but I just don't know.
So one last thing before we go, because I've kind of aimed the podcast at some graduates to help inspire people, I'm going to ask you one question. What advice would you give your younger self graduating into the industry with the knowledge you have now?
The knowledge I would have, what I would say to myself now is stop worrying about what people think. If you go into every audition with the confidence that you have now, back then, and stop making yourself unnecessarily panic. You know, sometimes in this industry, people like to build themselves up so much that people go into auditions terrified.
Yeah.
What is the point? You know, why anybody would want anybody to come into an audition? And that's not everyone. And that's just my lived experience where I've gone in and some people have not even lifted their heads up from when I'm singing. Yeah. So, you know, I try not to put myself in situations like that anymore, or I take myself out of them as quick as possible. So I would say is put your best foot forward and have the confidence to go in and get the gig.
Amazing.
Because getting the gig is all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. David, you're an absolute gem. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I really do appreciate it. And I hope we inspired some other graduates or anyone that's listening. And thank you so much, David.
Evan, you're an absolute dream. Thanks for having me. It's killed half an hour, 45 minutes of lockdown. Fantastic.
Thank you. Now, if anyone would like to donate or get access to the podcast like never before, as in behind the scenes, listen to the podcast first, submit questions for the guests on the show each week. It's a minimum of £3 a month. Visit www.patreon.com/the Chit Chat Podcast. And we are now available on all platforms, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. So subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, I'm Evan O'Hanlon from the Chit Chat Podcast. Thank you so much for listening.